to curb your enthusiasm. We are in a pandemic. As long as there is ongoing pandemic around the world, Israel and any other country is still under threat of new variants, of new waves, and we should keep alert.
Do you think then that schools very quickly again will be dealing with disruptions, quarantines and illness and isolations? The idea that this school year will be a normal school year, should we not be optimistic about that either?
I believe you said the key word, disruption. And unfortunately, the pandemic will continue to disrupt our lives in Israel, including the education system. We have to find new strategy how we deal with the pandemic in our schools, because we have seen over the last months, including my own children, that the current strategy brings to many isolations and quarantine that it's impossible to live with. There are children who went 5-6 times into quarantine. We must change the policy in Israel, like many other countries like Norway and UK and the Netherlands. And if there is one case in the class, we cannot continue with the policies that automatically all class members goes into quarantine. We need to cleverly use mass testing, including antigen testing in schools, in order to identify those who got infected and should be isolated or quarantine, and those who did not get infected and should continue with schooling. That is the current goal. We also need to cleverly use, as today, that today in Israel, all children had to be tested with a rapid antigen test, and we need now to evaluate if this operation was successful or not.
Professor, how important is it for 5 to 11-year-olds to get vaccinated when the FDA, as anticipated, approves it for emergency use, maybe in the next 3-4 weeks? How important is it for the under 12s to get the doses? And as you know, there's probably going to be a lot of pushback from parents who may not want to give their 5-year-old kids this shot.
I think we must keep a purely professional line. We still don't have the relevant data to make informed decision about vaccinating children 5 to 12 years of age. I hope that in the coming weeks we will have more data. But even then, the balance between the effectiveness of the vaccine for a population with low risk, despite there is a risk. There is a risk for severe disease, there is a risk for complications, there is a risk for transmission of the virus to susceptible population. On the other hand, we saw that there are safety issues. So we have to be very careful. We have to tell the public the truth. Do not overpressure the public. Do not underestimate the risks or the benefits of the vaccine. If we go with that path, we will keep the public trust in Israel and elsewhere. If we will turn the pendulum too much to one side or the other, we will lose the public trust, and then we may lose trust in other vaccines. We may see parents that take the children to homeschooling in order to avoid vaccination, and we have to go through these times together. Do not have a faith that is like religious in the vaccine. The vaccine is only a tool to achieve our goal, which is to keep public health and to keep life, exactly as you say, without disruptions as much as possible.
Professor, thanks so much for your time. And